Hey there, Leslie here, and today I'd like to answer a question that several of you have asked me, which is gray hair bad for me? The answer is not inherently so. However, it may be an indication that something else is going on inside that you need to have checked out with a medical professional. Why do I say this? Well, there have been a number of studies. I've got one here out of Egypt, another out of India, another out of Turkey, which actually say that gray hair and even the degree of hair whitening is linked with cardiovascular risk. So here's one where you can see that they are clearly looking at this in all men of all ages. Here's another one which is in premature graying in young men. And finally, this study was quite interesting because it not only looked at the degree of hair whiteness, but it looked at things like alopecia and hair thinning that would all be risk factors for cardiovascular disease in men. Now, in women, there are several reasons, and they're well known. There are just so many studies on them that there's no point in me printing them out and showing you. The preponderance of evidence demonstrates that in women, reasons for early gray hair, if they are not the genetic risk factors, which I went over in my other video, they could be due to things like anemia. Anemia is where you don't have enough oxygen attached to your hemoglobin and you feel extremely tired. The cause for this can often be due to low iron intake as well as very heavy menstrual periods. And if that's the case, it could be due to polycystic ovary syndrome. It could be due to uterine fibroids. These are both quite serious issues. If you've got PCOS, it will probably be harder for you to get pregnant. That is generally something that happens in women who have a very upregulated 5-alpha reductase enzyme. They will notice that they have more acne, that they have heavy periods, and that they have hair thinning. So definitely have that checked out. But blood loss, which could lead to anemia, could also be due to uterine fibroids. And that's another thing that if you have them, you do need to get that checked out right away. Another reason why you could have early onset gray hair is actually due to methylation. Now, I've touched on methylation in another video. Methylation is a relatively complex subject. I'm going to talk about one single nucleotide polymorphism, or SNP, that many people have discussed, in particular Dr. Ben Lynch up in Washington State, where he talks about the mthfr single nucleotide polymorphism. This is not the only one. There are others that are more important, but just to go through this very quickly, we need to donate what is called a methyl group when we take in something like folate. Folate comes in cereals, it comes in meat, and when we get that folate and we put it together with a methyl donor, it then turns into something called methylfolate. We can also create another thing called methionine. If we do not have a properly functioning methylation system in our bodies, we aren't able to contribute the methyl groups and the numbers we need to make those conversions. It also will impact our body's ability to make antioxidants like glutathione, which is very important in making sure we don't have gray hair. And it will impact our ability to have to use B6, B9, and B12. B12 in particular is a very important vitamin. A lot of vegans and vegetarians do not get this in their diet because it tends to come in very rich form in things like liver. You can get it from seaweeds. However, if you imagine you don't take any of this in from meat or seaweeds, and you also have a methylation issue, it is very possible that you won't have the amount of B12, B6, B9 in your body, and this could lead to other problems down the line. So with B12, it can lead to spinal issues, very serious spinal issues, and very low energy, even depression in at least a handful of cases that's even led to catatonia, which is where you just don't speak at all. So that is one of the reasons why, if you've got gray hair, early onset gray hair as a woman, you should take a look at it. The final reason could be due to low thyroid function. So also actually hyperthyroidism will lead to problems with your hair as well. So either hypo, low thyroid function, or hyper, very high thyroid function could be problematic for you. In all of these cases, working together with a medical professional who will work up all of your lab tests for you and will see exactly where you have certain vitamin, mineral, or hormonal deficiencies, where you can actually restore balance, all of these things would be important for you to address just from a whole health perspective. But you might find that as a bonus, you're able to stop the gray hair from getting worse and even reverse it. So I hope that this video has answered the question, is gray hair bad for me? No, it's not, but it is worth looking at because of all those reasons I said. Cardiovascular risk. I should have actually mentioned elevated homocysteine, which is a marker for cardiovascular risk. That often happens if you've got poor methylation. PCOS, uterine fibroids, thyroid problems. You don't want any of those. So if you've got any questions, leave them in the comments below. I look at every single one. Those of you who followed me know that I do. I answer every single one. And if you'd like to sign up for the Anti-Aging Tips newsletter, I will soon be talking about autophagy and ketones, as well as fasting. And if you'd like to learn more about that, please sign up for that in the link below. Thanks again for watching, and see you next time.